Hi everyone. This video will discuss Unit 3, the APA Psychology Report. This particular unit is written in the discipline of social science, specifically the field of psychology. Psychology instructors want students who are coming into their classes to know how to use APA format and documentation style, and they also want students to know how to write an informational report, because a lot of what comes from study in the field of psychology is for informational purposes. So I've got this set up by reading assignments, resources, and writing assignments. So the textbook reading, the textbook does not provide anything specifically on writing a report, but a report is actually one of the most straightforward pieces of writing that a student can do, because it does not contain analysis, it does not contain looking deeper than the surface. It just involves delivering information. So the only textbook reading that I have assigned for this unit is Chapter 22, which goes over in detail APA style. APA is not that much different than MLA, but it is there's a couple little things here and there as far as formatting, but also as far as documentation. So please be sure to read over Chapter 22 to look at those differences. If you click on the reading assignments and online resources here, this has a little link that talks about writing in the field of psychology. And then this is the APA informational report. This link provides an explanation of how some informational reports are formatted and what they include. But be sure to follow the directions for the essay for this class, because all of the parts mentioned here are not necessarily required in your essay. So just look at this as a guide to see what type of report writing is done in the field of psychology. And then this link provides the difference between MLA and APA style. So you can kind of see the differences. Again, they're very similar, so don't feel like you're having to relearn a whole different style. But there are significant changes, but it still is very similar, and it's not difficult to pick up on. And then if you click here, I've given some lecture notes that you want to read about the APA informational report. Okay? So going back, if you look under the helpful resources, this link is anything and everything you need to know about APA documentation. The Purdue OWL website is a really good resource for MLA and APA, but you definitely want to make sure, since we are transitioning from MLA to APA, that you understand and keep in mind that MLA is in the past now, and now we're strictly working with APA. So you definitely want to watch these very short videos. It talks about how to format, how to cite sources within your essay and on a works cited page. Actually, it's called a reference page for APA. It's works cited for MLA. And then, just like I created the MLA cheat sheet for you guys for the first two essays, I've got an APA cheat sheet. If you click on this, it gives you 3 sections: a formatting section, an in-text or parenthetical citation section, and then a reference page section. And each of those sections discusses specifically and gives examples of how to do all of those things: how to format in the APA format, how to cite sources within your essay, and how to cite sources on a reference page. So use this as your guide. Here's a sample APA research paper. It's not necessarily a report, but it will show you formatting for an APA essay. It'll show you how sources are cited within an APA essay, so you can use that as a guide as far as formatting goes. Here's an APA PowerPoint presentation. Here's how to create an APA title page. So if you're confused on how to do that, you click here. It shows you exactly how. Here's a sample APA reference page and what that looks like. Here is about citing quotes, the reference page. So it gives you all kinds of resources in here, guys. And if you just click on these, it shows you exactly how to do these things. So make sure you use this link frequently when writing the last 2 essays. Okay, this one right here. All right, this folder gives the essay instructions and resources that you need for writing your actual essay. I provided the APA cheat sheet again here. Here is a report template. I encourage all of you to use this. I'm going to click on it and then pull it up so you guys can see it. But it is basically a fill in the blank. And you can certainly just pull this up and just fill it in. Okay, see, I already have the title page formatted for you. All you need to do is fill in the blanks, make sure you erase any directions on a template and fill in with what it's supposed to have. And then for your introduction, this is what you'll do for your introduction. And then you'll turn your questions that you have about your topic into headings. All right, and then you'll just write your essay. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the second heading here and the third heading here. It's going to depend on how long your paragraphs are. So you want to make sure you adjust this based on your own writing. And then, of course, you've got what a sample reference page would look like. Now, of course, you'll erase these. These are just sample sources, but you definitely want to look at this formatting and say to yourself, okay, does mine look like this? And if it doesn't, then it's wrong. So we have to figure out what the specific formatting guidelines are for an APA reference page. And if you look on the APA cheat sheet, it will show you what to do. Okay, so definitely use the template. Make sure you omit all of the excess spacing that you don't use. This, again, is not set in stone. It's just a guide, and you can fill it in and then just adapt it to your own writing. Okay, now let me go back. Here we have the student sample of an informational report. So I'm going to click on this. Okay. All right. Okay. This is a student sample. Now, it doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it's without errors. But I chose this one because this is one from a student that at Western Piedmont who allowed me to use her work. I just changed her name. And it is formatted correctly. The citations are correct. It does everything that the instructions ask. There are probably some grammar things here and there, but for the most part, she earned an A on this paper. So you can kind of look through and see what she did. She, in her introduction, right here, the questions that she's going to address in her essay, she ends up turning them into headings. Each one has its own heading. And then you have the paragraphs underneath each that basically answers this question in detail. So this gives you a really good example of what it looks like, okay, as far as formatting, content, and so forth. Now, this particular essay, you can use first person, but only in the introduction and the conclusion. You'll see this on the instructions. All right, so definitely be sure to check out the sample. I'm sorry, this is from another class. Okay, here are the report essay instructions. Okay, and you want to follow these. Don't just pick and choose what instructions to follow. Be sure to follow all instructions. Okay, again, you're going to write an APA documented paper about one of the psychology topics listed below. Now, I've tried to pick some pretty interesting topics because there's tons of research out there on these topics. Depression, schizophrenia, emotional intelligence, phobias, PTSD, and anxiety disorder. Now, I do realize that some of these are very, very broad topics. You can narrow it down and discuss different types of depression, different types of phobias, different types of anxiety disorders that are out there. I mean, you could do that. Or most students like to keep it general so that they can discuss more about it. So you want to choose one of these topics. This is your choice list. You have to choose one from this list. Okay, and remember, you're only focusing on the psychological aspects of the topic you choose. So whenever you're actually planning for this paper, you need to ask yourself, okay, which one do I want to write about, which one seems the most interesting to me. And like, so let's just say I picked phobias. I may say, okay, while I'm planning this, what do I know about phobias? And, you know, we know a little bit here and there. You know, it's a fear of this or that. But honestly, it's actually more than just a fear. It's a debilitating type of condition that doesn't mean you're just scared of something. You're scared of something to the point that it causes emotional and physical issues. So, for instance, I may want to focus on maybe the 3 most common phobias to narrow that down a little bit. Maybe I want to focus on those. Maybe I want to focus on the weirdest phobias that are out there, because I've actually researched, and there's some shows that have shown these on TV, but there are some very odd phobias out there that were very interesting to learn about. But so it's up to you on what you want to write as far as if you want to narrow it down or keep it just as phobias. But you want to write down, you know, at least 3 or 4 questions that you have that you want answered about phobias. You know, maybe it's what causes phobias, who is primarily affected by phobias, is there a treatment or cure for phobias? It could be, is there new innovation or studies? Are they coming out about phobias? So it could be any question. Just write down as many questions as you have about the topic, and then just choose which questions you want to focus on. Okay? And this section breaks down your essay. You will have a title page, okay? And then your essay will be 3 full pages. 3 full pages. That does not include the title page. Now, in the sample informational report, the link I showed you earlier, it usually includes an abstract. Well, you're not going to do an abstract for this essay, okay? So you want to include that. You'll have a title page, and then you'll begin your essay on the next page with an introduction. And if you read these instructions, it tells you how to do these things. Or you can pull up the template. The body of the report, questions and points of discussions. What questions will this report examine? Turn those questions into your headings, and that will be the body of your paper. Again, you should use third person all throughout your report. In the body of your report, you can use first person and first person in your intro and conclusion, because I do want to ask, you know, wanted you guys to answer some of these questions that provoked your reasoning for choosing these topics. So be sure to read through all this, see the template, the guideline. Again, it's an APA formatted and documented essay. 3 full pages at least. So you'll have a title page, you'll have 3 pages of essay, and then your 4th page will be a reference page. Okay, that's your list of sources that you're using within your essay. I highly recommend that you use the databases. So be sure to see the link in Moodle that shows you how to use the databases, where you can find really good academic, scholarly, credible articles. Or you can use the internet. The internet has really good articles too about these topics. All sources must be cited both on the reference page at the end and within your essay. You have to do both. If a student fails to do this, 0 points will be given, because there's no way for me to know what ideas and comments and responses are yours and what comes from sources. So I need to be able to tell the difference. And that happens when your sources are cited. And I know that the majority of this essay will be research, but what you're doing in this essay is you are responding to that research. You're putting your thoughts and ideas down there too without using first person in the body, but you are responding to the research that you're using. So look at the sample that I provided, and that'll give you some guidance too. Again, much like MLA, APA recommends using 12-point Times New Roman. Again, follow the APA cheat sheet for formatting. If you have any questions about this essay, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email or send me a remind message. Thank you.